everyone? Zach with Creative, and thanks for joining me for another episode of Sports Talk and Marketing Tips News. Today I'm going to go get right into it. Let's talk about the news of the day. The new Green Bay Packers head coach Matt LaFleur tears Achilles playing basketball. Uh, you know, I was talking to my brother earlier today. He's a huge Green Bay Packers fan, and we were kind of ranting about this a little bit. It seems to me that everyone is prone to injuries. No matter if you're an athlete, no matter if you're not an athlete, if you work out a lot, if you don't work out a lot, even the coaches. Maybe they should be put under the same rules as the players do. I know that it's a free country, but your profession is in sports. Uh, what does everyone out there think? Do you think that coaches and anyone related to the team itself should have uh, the same guidelines and the same rules as the players do? I know they have a little bit of different perspective. I know that they're coaches and they're supposed to be out there helping the players. But from my perspective is, if you're going to teach it, preach it. It is very interesting to me how as players get older, they gain more knowledge in the sport. And usually, what ends up happening is they either get into the commentary because they know so much about the sport. They open their own business because it relates. It usually ends up relating to something that they do, or they end up becoming a coach and they move down the line. It seems like that's how a lot of coaches are coming about these days and commentators. To me, training is research. I train myself. I don't, of course, take it as serious as athletes do. I'm not the one out there on the field. I'm not the one putting my body on the line to make money. Is essentially what they are doing. It is entertainment, but at the end of the day, they have to watch themselves. I say look at Tom Brady, for instance. Tom Brady really watches his inflammation. He really watches the way he eats, the way he goes about even practicing, and look how long and the longevity of him. But he's also a great businessman. I'm not the one to preach about Tom Brady. I'm not going to say I don't know him personally, but I'm not a huge fan when it comes to him in the sport. He's just I don't like bandwagon. I think part of it is because I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan. Bashing in the comments, totally get it. I'll probably just glance over those ones if any of you go about doing anything like that. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on this? To me, it seems like coaches should follow some sort of guidelines that the players do. I feel like if they had a better aspect of how players are having to train, what they're supposed to do, I think that the coaches themselves might gain a little more knowledge when it comes to how to treat these players and how to implement them on the field. So I'd like to hear what everyone's thoughts are. Go down in the comments and let me know what you think of these players, these coaches, and especially the Green Bay coach. I'm telling you, like my brother said, there must be something in the water out there in Green Bay or maybe it's just always frozen. Who knows? So on other news, for the marketing tip of the day, today I'm going to talk about crowdfunding. What is crowdfunding? A lot of athletes, a lot of businesses utilize crowdfunding on platforms like Kickstarter, like GoFundMe, situations like that. It works really well for nonprofits, sports foundations, things of that nature when it comes to trying to gain exposure, gain money for their nonprofit foundation, even for events like the hurricane that JJ Watt put forth. He made quite a bit of money on there. I would just, if you are an athlete or you're a nonprofit foundation, I would just be very cautious about some of these platforms that you're going on and working on. I am in the process of building additional nonprofit valued platform for athletes and for nonprofits to help them utilize their spend a little bit easier and a little bit better to help the end goal. But just watch these platforms, because if you kind of look at these platforms, you'll kind of notice that, hey, for instance, JJ Watt made $16 million. I think it was around $16 million for the hurricane relief fund, which is great. That's a great amount of money. But if you look at the percentage that he gives to the platform for utilizing the platform, when he himself, he has enough followers that he was the one doing most of the marketing. He was bringing through the funnel the marketing through these platforms like Twitter. So he did most of the work. He just utilized the platform. He gave them, I think the rough estimate is probably between 3 and 9% that you give these crowdfunding platforms. So if you look at that, I don't know the exact numbers, of course, and I don't know what his deal was with doing it, but that's roughly $700,000 just given to the large corporation for utilizing the platform. That doesn't seem right to me. That money should be utilized somewhere else. Maybe those efforts, that money should be utilized back into the spend. So I would just be wary when you're kind of picking your platform, depending on what you're doing. If you're looking for, there's tons of different crowdfunding platforms out there. And to go back to what crowdfunding is, crowdfunding allows you to raise money for your business through the help of your friends, family, and customers, and even investors. And it's really just that simple. There's 3 kinds of crowdfunding: donation-based, reward-based, and equity-based situations that you can kind of go about. The donation-based is very simple. People donate money to help fund their company or specific projects that they're working on without any in return. Where rewards-based is when a company will send someone a sample of the product or some kind of gift after they give/make a donation through the campaign. Now that's like, for instance, more of, I think a player would really utilize these platforms when it comes to, hey, I have a signed basketball, I want to help, I'm trying to grow a business after I retire, I want to help a nonprofit, and I'm going to utilize my already leveraged marketing to kind of do so. And then there's the equity-based. It is the most attractive for investors because it gives donors equity in your company. You're basically giving them equity as you're growing your business. And those are the 3 that really relate to what your crowdfunding goals are. So as I stated at the beginning, really look at these crowdfunding platforms as you're kind of going out there. And if you need a little more advice on what crowdfunding is, I do have a few blog posts. I'll link one below so you can kind of get an idea of some of the crowdfunding aspects you can do. And you can even leverage a marketing company to kind of put forth and help you with growing you to that next step if you don't have an investment. Or if you do have an investment and it's a larger project, like let's say you're trying to create a software that's going to compete with a larger company, using a crowdfunding, creating your own crowdfunding campaign. And some companies actually leverage to create a crowdfunding platform itself, like I am doing for my clients. You can do that as well if that's part of your business plan, and it's another way to kind of utilize shopping and turn B2B to B2C kind of clients. So again, if you need any information on it, look below. But that's all I have for today. If you have any questions or comments, link below, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for tuning in.